Today we're looking at yokaten, a single Japanese phrase that kind of bridges the gap between congratulations and, well, thank God. One phrase to rule them all. Let's dive in.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot for, for one single word to carry, but the source material we're looking at today is really compelling.
It really is. We're looking at a guide that's specifically for learners, but it ends up being this incredible breakdown of human emotion. The phrase is yokaten, and the source starts with this, this really simple definition. It's what you use when something good happens to the other person.
Simple on the surface, right? I mean, in English, we'd say nice or congrats, something like that. But the source immediately goes deeper. It says the core function isn't just acknowledgement. It's to rejoice together.
The rejoice together. Wow. That lands so differently than just, giving someone a thumbs up.
It completely changes the dynamic. If I say congratulations, I'm effectively in the audience clapping for you on stage. There's a distance there. But rejoicing together implies I'm stepping up onto the stage with you. I'm participating in the emotion.
It reminds me of that feeling when, your favorite team wins a game.
Yeah.
You didn't play, but you feel the win.
Exactly. It's that shared vibration. And the source uses a very specific descriptor for this. It says the phrase has a very warm feeling.
A very warm feeling. I love that. It makes it sound so cozy, like a linguistic blanket or something.
That's a great way to put it. In communication, we can be very clinical. I acknowledge your success. That's cold. Yokaten is warm because it breaks down the barrier between me and you. It becomes us.
And the source mentions that this is used really often in daily conversation. So this isn't some rare, poetic, meaningful moment. This is everyday stuff.
Which suggests that Japanese conversation really prioritizes this warmth. It's constantly reinforcing that bond. I see your happiness and it makes me happy. That's a powerful signal to send to your friends or colleagues, 10 times a day.
It's like a constant empathy check.
Precisely. It's active empathy. The source is really clear that this is about being with the other person.
Okay, so we have the joy part. We're rejoicing together.
Mm-hmm.
But here is where it gets really interesting for me. The source introduces a second concept that I think is even more critical. It talks about ando.
Yes, ando. This is the game changer. Ando means relief, peace of mind.
And the source explicitly says yokaten is used when feeling relieved along with the other person.
Just think about that distinction for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Joy versus relief. Joy is about gaining something, a prize, a promotion. Relief is about avoiding something, a disaster, a failure.
The source gives a perfect example here, the exam.
The universal stress test.
We've all been there. The studying, the caffeine, the just absolute dread that you might fail and ruin your entire life.
The stakes feel incredibly high, yeah.
So the scenario is, a friend says, I passed the exam. Now, in English, my knee-jerk reaction is, congratulations, that's awesome.
Which is a totally valid response. You're celebrating the victory, but the source suggests yokaten because it translates to a more natural reaction of, that's a relief, or it turned out well.
So why pivot to relief instead of just victory?
Well, because the person who just passed the exam is probably in a state of decompression. They aren't just happy, they are exhaling for the first time in weeks. The threat is gone.
So if I say congrats, I'm focusing on the trophy. But if I say yokaten, I'm acknowledging the stress they just survived.
You are validating their struggle. You're saying, I know you were worried. I was worried for you. And I am so glad that worry is over. That is the ando aspect.
That feels so much more intimate. It's like you're helping them put down a heavy bag they've been carrying.
That's it exactly. And it connects right back to that warmth we were talking about. There's nothing warmer than someone understanding your anxiety and sharing in the release of it. The source says it means it turned out well, which, it implies
that it might not have turned out well.
Right. It acknowledges the risk. It respects the difficulty of the challenge.
It's a shared exhale. Just,
phew, we made it. That's the vibe, exactly.
And what I love about this source is that it emphasizes how versatile this all is. We aren't just talking about huge life events like entrance exams.
No, not at all. The text explicitly states it is used really often in daily conversation and that just one short word is sufficient.
Sufficient. I like that word. It implies you don't need a whole monologue.
You don't. The code is established. The word itself carries the weight.
The source gives two other examples. One is, the problem was resolved well. And the other, which I found surprisingly touching, is, My cold is all better.
Let's unpack the cold example. My cold is all better.
It goes right back to relief, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, being sick, even with just a cold, it's isolating. You feel weak, you're out of the loop. When you recover, you are sort of re-entering the world.
So saying yokatain is like welcoming them back.
It's saying, I am relieved you are healthy again. It's validating that low-level anxiety we all have about our bodies. And again, notice the efficiency. You don't have to say, oh, I am so deeply gratified to hear your immune system is now functioning at an optimal level.
That would be so weird.
You just say, yokatain. And because of that shared cultural understanding, the other person feels that warmth instantly.
It's high bandwidth communication. One word, lots of data.
Exactly right.
And the problem resolved example. The problem was resolved well.
This could be anything, right? A technical glitch at work, a misunderstanding with a neighbor, a lost set of keys.
And the response is just yokatain.
It acts as a punctuation mark. It puts a period at the end of the stress. The loop is closed. The problem is over. We can all move on.
I think that's why the relief aspect is so powerful. It signals safety. It signals that, okay, we're back to baseline.
And doing that for someone else, validating their return to safety, is such a key part of building trust. If I know you'll be relieved when I solve a problem, I'm probably more likely to tell you about the problem in the first place.
So it actually encourages vulnerability.
Absolutely. It creates a safe space for sharing the ups and downs, not just the highlight reel.
Now I want to pivot to the part of the source that I found, well, intellectually fascinating. This guide is written for Korean speakers learning Japanese, so it uses comparative linguistics to explain the nuance.
This is such a useful tool. Sometimes English just doesn't have a direct equivalent, so looking at how it maps to another language can really help us triangulate the true meaning.
The source compares yokatain to two specific Korean phrases, 다행이다 and 잘됐네. And it says the feeling is almost the same.
Let's break those down because they perfectly illustrate the dual nature of yokatain.
Okay, first up, 다행이다. The source says this translates to nuances like it's a relief or thank goodness.
Thank goodness. That is pure relief. That's the ando. That's what you say when you drop your phone face down, pick it up, and the screen isn't cracked.
다행이다.
Exactly. Crisis averted. So yokatain holds all of that energy. The energy of thank God.
Then we have the other one, 잘됐네.
Mm-hmm.
The source translates this as it went well or that's great.
And this is the affirmative side. This is looking at the positive outcome. It's the joy.
So yokatain is somehow sitting right in the middle of thank goodness and good job.
It's the bridge between them. In English, we often have to choose. If you tell me you passed your exam, I have a split-second decision to make. Do I say, what a relief, focusing on the fear you just escaped?
Or do you say, that's awesome,
Yeah.
focusing on the success you just gained?
Yeah.
I feel like I usually try to do both and end up just stumbling over my words like, oh, wow, that's great. You must be so relieved.
Right. You need a whole sentence to cover the territory that yokatain covers in 5 syllables.
It encapsulates the whole transition.
It captures the entire journey, from the negative potential, the fear of failure, to the positive reality of the success. It acknowledges that for human beings, joy and relief are usually all tangled up together.
That's a really deep insight. We pretend emotions are in these separate buckets, but usually the best moments in life are a cocktail of I'm happy and I'm safe.
And yokatain is the perfect toast to that cocktail.
The source notes that because the feeling is so similar to these Korean phrases, learners can use it right away. It's basically plug and play.
Which implies that this is a universal emotional script. We all know that feeling. We all experience that mix of relief and joy. We just don't all have a single word for it.
But by having the word, maybe you can access the feeling more easily.
I mean, that's the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, essentially. Language shapes thought. If you have a dedicated tool for rejoicing in someone else's relief, you are probably going to use it. You're going to look for opportunities to share that specific warmth.
So it actually trains you to be a better friend.
I think it does. It trains you to look for the relief in others, not just the status updates.
Rejoicing together. That's the core of it.
It is. It really fights against that modern tendency to be envious or competitive. Instead of asking, why not me, yokatain forces you to say, I am part of your win.
It turns life into a team sport.
Even for the really small stuff.
The bus arriving just on time.
The store having your favorite snack in stock.
Yokatain.
It validates the small wins. And life is mostly made up of small wins.
So let's bring this all together. What does this deep dive into? Just one phrase tell us about communication.
It tells us that efficiency doesn't have to mean coldness. Yokaten is short. It's sufficient, but it's incredibly warm.
Because it hits exactly the right emotional notes. Shared joy and shared relief.
It acknowledges the struggle, the ando, and it celebrates the resolution.
And it creates a bond. It says, I'm with you.
It's a tool for connection in a world that can feel, very disconnected sometimes.
So, here is where we leave you to think. We've talked about how this one Japanese phrase perfectly captures rejoicing together and relief in one neat package.
It's a powerful capability to have in your vocabulary.
So think about your own interactions. When a friend tells you good news, whether it's a huge promotion or just, fixing a leaky faucet, how do you respond?
Are you just clapping from the sidelines? Or are you stepping onto the stage with them?
Do you have a way to bridge that gap between congratulations and utter relief? Or are we missing out on that specific warmth because we have to fumble for the right words?
Does your language let you yokatain?
Something to think about the next time you hear a bit of good news. Maybe we can all try to channel a little more of that shared relief energy, no matter what language we happen to be speaking.
Indeed.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.